We've just returned from a 7-night Irresistible Med cruise on Virgin Voyages Valiant Lady and want to share all the details with you. From the onboard activities, dining, and entertainment on the ship, to all the ports of call, we cover it in this exclusive cruise review. Up next.
Welcome aboard, cruisers. I'm DB from Eat, Sleep, Cruise, where we help you see the world one port at a time, and we're on Virgin Voyages Valiant Lady. And whether you're looking for more information about the cruise line or the Irresistible Med cruise itinerary, this video is for you, as we're going to give you a complete review of everything on board the ship, from the dining, entertainment, and onboard activities, as well as talk about all the ports of call to see if this cruise is right for your next vacation. So let's get started with the actual ship itself and talk a little bit about some of the outdoor amenities like the pool deck and all the other activities here on Virgin Voyages.
Just like Scarlet Lady, Virgin Voyages Valiant Lady is home to only 2 pools. The main pool is on deck 15 midship. The small pool has a waiting area with an even smaller area for taking a dip. The pool is surrounded by daybeds for those looking to soak up the sun. Unfortunately, the pool looks much better than it functions, especially on a warm sea day in the Mediterranean. Additionally, there are a number of loungers and shaded seating areas along the perimeter of the main pool area. Regardless, during a busy afternoon, this area can feel quite cramped. Just after the main pool, sailors can find the wellness pool. This even smaller circular pool is surrounded by some loungers and outdoor workout equipment. Our 7-day port-intensive itinerary only had 1 sea day, so we did not spend much time near the pools. If you don't need to be right next to a pool, there are additional outdoor spaces on Valiant Lady. On deck 16 aft, there's the athletic club. Surprisingly, this area was fuller than expected on the sea day before our night stop in Ibiza. Likewise, deck 17 is home to the Perch. This small area offers additional lounge chairs. Now, sailors staying in Rockstar Suites have access to Richard's rooftop. This exclusive forward sun deck has a hot tub and private bar. There are also some upgraded daybeds and loungers. Sadly, it does not offer a pool or any other water feature. Virgin Voyages emphasizes fitness and well-being. The main sports area is deck 16, the athletic club. Here you'll find outdoor circuit equipment and even a boxing ring. However, we only ever saw staff actually using that. Other amusements in the sports area include foosball tables, swings, and even mini seesaws. Additionally, there's a small sports court. This basketball court is about the width of the foul area on a typical basketball court. Along with free play, there were several organized activities that happened here. From dodgeball to a 90s boy band dance class, this court was multi-purpose. There's also a jogging track on deck 17. We do appreciate that there is a dedicated space for this workout area. This means that sailors do not need to worry about tripping over loungers or bumping into others on an outdoor promenade like many other ships. With all fitness classes included in Virgin Voyages cruise fare, there are several other ways to stay active as well beyond the sports deck. There are 2 gyms, one for cardio and the other for strength training. There's also a dedicated fitness classroom and a spin classroom. The service on Virgin Voyages is a bit different than other cruise lines. That's not to say that the crew on Valiant Lady were not friendly or helpful. They actually do an amazing job offering personal service in a more casual and relatable manner. Personally, I appreciate these more conversational interactions with the crew. Although the service on our particular sailing was quite slow. Our dinners in the restaurants took a full 2 hours each evening. Granted, this voyage was much busier than our previous sailings on its sister ship Scarlet Lady. Additionally, we did have a few hiccups in the gallery with food arriving at various times. But that is partly due to the nature of that dining venue. Still, we were quickly served at other venues like the grounds coffee shop, the ice cream parlor, and the pizza place, as well as the Shore Things desk. All venues were adequately staffed, and the crew seemed knowledgeable of the ship and their roles. Our stateroom attendant Yus was very jovial and accommodating. He always said hi and had a big smile on his face. He never hesitated when we requested more water or needed additional hangers. He would even go out of his way to get the door for me when my hands were full with coffee and breakfast. We believe that Virgin Voyages shines in providing a casual yet professional vibe on board, and that's thanks in part to the dedicated and hardworking team members. During a 7-day cruise with 6 ports of call, most of our time on the sailing was spent ashore. Still, we were happy to report in this cruise review that the ship did offer more variety in daytime activities than our previous cruises. Occurring in the Social Club, the Gamers Lab is home to a wide range of board games. Here you'll also find air hockey and shuffleboard, along with a small arcade. This complimentary arcade features games from the 80s and 90s and is a fun and nostalgic pastime. Now on Virgin Voyages, there's regular trivia, mind benders, and quizzes to keep you busy, of course, with a Virgin Voyages twist. On several days, there were complimentary arts and crafts events too. During the day, there's a DJ at the Aquatic Club, and musical acts may pop up in other places around the ship. The cruise line does offer things like upcharge tastings and experiences that guests can book via the app once on board the ship. Thankfully though, there are none of the gimmicky activities like art auctions or the belly flop contest on Valiant Lady. It wouldn't be a cruise review if we didn't talk about the food. So one of the benefits of Virgin Voyages for me is the inclusive nature, because all the dining on the ship is complimentary. From the casual eats to all the sit-down restaurants, everything is included in the cruise fare. On Valiant Lady, there are several casual spots to grab a bite to eat. One of our favorites is the pizza place. Located on the port side of Deck 7, this venue dishes out freshly prepared, personal-sized pizzas. You can also grab a freshly made salad as you wait. In the dock, the grill serves up mouth-watering skewers. From octopus to shrimp and steak, these delicious bites are a great light lunch or a late-day snack. Virgin Voyages has pioneered grab-and-go options, unlike any cruise line. At venues like the Dock House or the ship's buffet, you can grab snacks and to-go meals. In the morning, there's yogurt or trail mix and fresh fruit. During the day, snacks like hummus, turkey wraps, bean dip, or fruit salad are available in takeaway containers. Other casual eats include the ice cream shop. The sweet treats here would certainly be an upcharge on any other cruise line. While these casual spots are great, the main quick service venue on the ship is the Galley on Deck 15. This food hall is home to 10 different eateries and is part buffet, part table service. Each stand has its own menu and is open various times of day. Sailors can always get breakfast items at the 24-hour Diner and Dash. Serving as a fresh bagel bar in the morning, the daily mix turns into a custom salad bar in the afternoon and evenings. There's also a taco stand, bento boxes and sushi, a panini shop, a burger bar, and a noodle stand. Currently, cruisers order with a server tableside, and food runners deliver the food. We hope Virgin keeps the table service aspect, but streamlines the ordering, perhaps with tableside tablets. In the evenings, cruisers can choose from 6 different sit-down restaurants on Valiant Lady. Reservations are required and can be made 45 days prior to a voyage. For us, the dining is where Virgin Voyages really shines. Valiant Lady was no different. We ate at all 6 restaurants on the ship and are happy to report our experiences are still on par with our previous sailings. While the menu items might not be as upscale as some premium or luxury cruise lines, the execution is flawless. The menus are actually more akin to our taste buds and feature more unique dishes than the classics you might find on other contemporary cruise lines. At Pink Agave, we sampled a variety of small and medium plates. From the roasted corn to guacamole and seared shrimp, it was tapas heaven. Extra Virgin, the ship's Italian restaurant, is perhaps the most classic in terms of menu selections. Still, the fried calamari, meat and cheese board, and the homemade pasta rival anything you find at the best restaurants on land. At the wake, my medium rare filet mignon, alongside mushrooms and fries, was a delight. Not to mention, the chocolate torte dessert was surprisingly sweet and satisfying. This cruise, we returned to Gun Bay with friends. This Korean barbecue restaurant is a loud, fun, and delicious alternative to the typical teppanyaki restaurant on cruise ships. We enjoyed the spicy Korean chicken, the rice, grilled seafood, and so much more. For the first time, we experimented with the test kitchen as well. This 6-course tasting menu is fixed, so it might not be suitable for picky eaters. While not our favorite restaurant, we still think it was worth a try on Valiant Lady, and enjoyed the lamb dish and strawberry dessert. Lastly, there is Razzle Dazzle. This vegan-friendly restaurant actually serves up some great roasted chicken, butter chicken, and an impeccably crafted Cobb salad starter. Not to mention, you can't go wrong with the milk and cookies or the razzle cake for dessert. While we rave about the dining, the entertainment on Virgin Voyages is a little bit more hit or miss. Personally, I'm more a fan of the night performances in the Red Room and the Manor than the wife. I still argue that for the first night of the cruise, the untitled dance show party thing is a great way to kick off any voyage. Occurring in the Red Room, the show highlights the transformational nature of this main theater. It's high energy and offers some laughs, thought-provoking pieces, and it's just a lot of fun. This welcome aboard show of sorts culminates with a dance party. Also occurring in the Red Room is our favorite show, Dual Reality. Due to some scheduling issues, our mid-cruise showtime was moved to the final night of the voyage. This still didn't matter, as the athletic and impressively talented cast put on a mesmerizing show. This modern-day circus is a take on Romeo and Juliet, with performers like strength and balancing acts, jugglers, and dancers. Unlike our previous cruise on Virgin Voyages, which were shorter 4 and 5 day itineraries, Valiant Lady also showcased 2 headliner acts in the theater. The mentalist and magician Ben Price was witty, comical, and very on brand, though this show is the most similar to what you would find on other contemporary cruise lines. Likewise, comedian Emmanuel Sonoub performed a 45-minute set in the theater. This British comedian was not your typical cruise humorist. While he did make fun of cruising, he also weaved in a good amount about his personal life and experiences traveling. The Manor was home to 2 other shows on this cruise. The signature show in this Deck 6 space is Never Sleep Alone. Again, Heidi is not a fan of this adult cabaret. While our showing was rather tame, I do admit having seen the show 3 times now, it does lose some of its appeal. New for us was the aptly named Shipshell. This well-produced 90-minute dinner theater show includes several acts and for some reason a meal. While we skipped on the food, we're glad we did not forego the show. With an amazing house band, dancers, and several variety show acts, it was a dynamic and oddly entertaining show. We do hope the cruise line brings this show fleet-wide, possibly minus the meal. Over the past year, Virgin Voyages has improved its programming with more musical acts at various bars and lounges around the ship. One of the most popular venues is still on the rocks. Here you can listen to the house band perform a variety of sets. The lead guitarist Dan also played sets in the dock. One of our favorite performers were the Millennium Boomers. This retro band blasts out hits from the 70s to 2000, often with a nod towards us 40-somethings. While they may not have had the best voices, they certainly had great stage presence. There was also a solo performer, Flute Loops, who could be found in the roundabout or at the dock house. His unique performance style blended several instruments, looping technology, and many genres of music. Not to mention, there were also 2 DJs hosting parties around the ship. Additionally, social karaoke occurred most nights, and there were also several theme parties. On night 1, there was the line's resident PJ party up at the athletic club. The Manor was also home to parties like the Heartbeat Party and the Boom Vang Party. Not to mention, the Diva Show occurred in the Manor on a few evenings, which we actually really enjoyed. The 5th night of our cruise was the brand's signature party, Scarlet Night. With pop-ups occurring around the ship, the highlight of this red night is a massive pool party on Deck 15. Yes, there are a lot of sailors dancing in the pool fully clothed during this event. Still, one of our favorite venues, the Dock House, feels underutilized. This is the ideal venue for a coffeehouse guitarist or performer. Hopefully, Virgin Voyages continues to tweak the musical acts to make full use of all the venues on the ship. All the same bars and lounges on Scarlet Lady can also be found on Valiant Lady with the same signature menus. At the heart of the ship, you can find On the Rocks. This Deck 6 lounge features live music, signature cocktails, and is one of the more popular indoor bars. Up 1 deck from On the Rocks is the Draft House. This craft beer location is a much smaller venue and was never really busy, but did have one of the best beer selections on the entire ship. The Sip Champagne Lounge is another go-to spot for drinks on the ship. This menu features a few signature cocktails, along with a wide selection of wine and champagne, as well as an afternoon tea. Unfortunately, the Loose Cannon Bar is tucked out of sight behind the Social Club. While pretty small, we both like the decor and the vibe of this nautically inspired location. It also features a signature drink menu with options like the Shakta Puss. As mentioned previously, perhaps our favorite bar on Valiant Lady is the dock. The upscale resort vibe of this area makes it our favorite spot on the ship in general. Not to mention it has two of our favorite drinks, sangria and the grapevine cocktail. Its indoor counterpart, the Dock House, serves the same menu. You also shouldn't miss the Instagram-worthy drinks from Razzle Dazzle. Even if you don't plan to eat at the restaurant, you can head to the Red Bar at the back of the venue. Here, you can order some of the unique cocktails, like the popcorn old fashioned. Of course, you have your selection of the poolside bars, like the Aquatic Club Bar, Gym and Tonic, and the Sun Club Bar as well. Happily, Virgin Voyages has made some updates to the cabins. This includes a number of decorative changes with new accents and warmer tones to breathe some much-needed character into the previously sterile staterooms. For this voyage, we booked a Sea Terrace stateroom. Unfortunately, Virgin Voyages auto-assigns you a cabin, so we received cabin 9066Z. This aft-located starboard side cabin was not far from the aft elevators. Immediately upon entering our cabin, our closet was to the right and the bathroom was to the left. The bed was on the forward wall facing aft. Right near the balcony was a small chair, as well as a desk with a mini fridge and two small shelves. Currently, the cruise line no longer plays up the ability to transform from a sofa to a bed. The stateroom attendant doesn't even change the configuration of the bed during the day either. Thus, next to the bed is a floor-level square table that essentially became my mini office for the week. While the bathrooms are small, I'm a fan of the rainfall shower. The shower itself is slightly larger than a typical cruise shower too. Although the bathroom lacks storage, with no shelving or countertop space. The closet is fairly standard size for a cruise ship, with a clothes bar with hangers, a series of shelves. We used some strategic unpacking to get all our gear stored for this 7-day voyage. Likewise, the balcony was just the right size. With two small chairs, a small table, and the popular hammock, it was an ideal place to enjoy the hot Mediterranean sun. Our view was partially obstructed by the lifeboats on Deck 7, but we were still able to enjoy sailing and sail out of ports of call. Now, before we dive into each port of call, we do want to make a note about the shore things. For this trip, we booked all our tours directly with Virgin Voyages. Using the Virgin Voyages app, we reserved these shore excursions before the trip. Honestly, we were not impressed with the cruise line's offerings. Further, the execution of Shore Things program was a bit of a mess. Several of the tours were not as advertised. In fact, our tour in Toulon, France, which was advertised as close to 4 hours, lasted barely 2. Further, the departure times for the tours kept changing, and several shore excursions were canceled. We were not alone in our assessment of the tour quality and program. Several other sailors had similar concerns about how the tours were operated and described. The Shore Things themselves weren't all bad though. It is important to note that despite everything, the Shore Things staff were receptive to our feedback and did provide us with a partial refund for our Toulon tour. On day 2, our first port of call was Toulon, France. Here we booked a combo walking tour with a boat tour of the bay. Our notice said to arrive at 9:45 at Off the Charts for our 10 a.m. tour. The tour started off with a 75-minute walk around the new and medieval parts of the city. We meandered by ancient churches, city markets and squares, and the coast. Along the way, the guide provided narration about what she called the major historical events and points of interest. From there, we circled back to the harbor for an approximately 1-hour boat tour of the bay. This tour circled the nearby area passing the naval station and several historical fortifications. While the tour had been great so far, just like that, it was over in about 2 hours, even though the shore excursion description indicated it was close to a 4-hour tour. When we disembarked the boat tour, the tour guide said that we could continue exploring the city on our own, or that she would walk us back to the ship. We were both really surprised by this, and later we did express our concerns about the mismatch between the description of the tour and the tour's execution to the Shore Things staff. Later in the week, the team got back to us saying they would offer us a 50% refund, which we thought was fair because for us, we only got 50% of the tour we were expecting. Thankfully, at our second port of call, our tour was much better. Here, we were docked in a shipping area in the Tuscany region of Italy, Marina di Carrara. While this port is a stepping stone to many iconic cities, we chose a tour visiting Santa Margherita and Portofino. This would be the longest shore excursion of our cruise. While we thought the meeting time was 9:30 a.m., 9:30 was actually the tour departure time. So, when we arrived in the roundabout, we were told that we needed to hurry ashore as our bus was about to leave without us. Thankfully, we managed to get seats on the bus just seconds before it jetted off. The approximately 1.5 hour drive from our port to the ferry included narration about the region's topography and history. Following the coast through several mountain tunnels, we arrived at our destination around 11 a.m. Here from Santa Margherita, we would take a ferry over to Portofino for the morning portion of our tour. Pulling up to the harbor of Portofino after the 20-minute ferry ride looked like something out of a movie. The iconic square and colorful buildings were the backdrop to lavish sailboats and yachts. The quaint cobblestone streets, cafes, and shops were exactly what you imagined the Italian Riviera to look like. Thus, visiting this exclusive locale was certainly worth the extra transit time. Here, we had 2 hours. You could either explore on your own or take a guided walking tour of the area for part of that time. We chose the latter, which included a stop at the Church of San Giorgio and the Castillo Brown for an amazing lookout point high above the city. For the remaining hour, we had free time to explore on our own. We took advantage of this time to stroll the streets. Along the way, we grabbed a few souvenirs and some gelato, of course. Unlike the morning, we were back to the meeting point extra early to ensure we did not miss the ferry back. By 2:30 p.m., we were back in Santa Margherita, where we had just over 30 minutes of free time. Our tour guide first escorted us to the 16th century church. From there, we really didn't have much to do besides walk around a few of the streets. This was the only downside of this tour. On day 4, we had a stop at Ajaccio, Corsica. Apparently, this is the birthplace of Napoleon Bonaparte. With few tour options available, we booked a city tour that includes several stops pertinent to this French emperor's life. Starting at 9 a.m., this tour was rather bland. It started with a bus ride around the city, during which we learned more about the island's history and this military leader's life. Our first stop was a lookout point with a replica statue of Napoleon commemorating his first military victory in Egypt. From there, it was a 20-minute ride out to a park for some amazing views of the Gulf of Ajaccio and the Sanguinari's Islands off the coast of Corsica. Following this 30-minute stop, the bus took us by the beach and coast before the walking portion of the tour. This 45-minute trek weaved in and out of the city. Among the sites we passed were Napoleon's boyhood home and baptismal church. There were also a few additional statues and historical landmarks along the way. Not to mention a very odd stop for a drink, which included juice or a Coca-Cola, before returning to the ship. Our island hopping continued on day 5 as the ship was stopping at the Italian island of Sardinia. Our tour of the old and new towns of Cagliari had a departure time of 10 a.m. Like most organized tours, we began the day with a history of the island and its time under various emperors' rules. Along the way, we drove up to the city's basilica. Although, while other tour groups got out to take pictures, we remained on the bus while a tour guide gave us a history of this historic church. From there, it was a panoramic drive as the bus ascended to Molentargius Park. Here, we had a quick 10-minute photo op with views of both the south and north sides of the city. Keeping in Virgin Voyages shore thing style, next, we had an unannounced stop for food and drinks, which included a pastry and either a coffee or a beer. Then, our bus dropped us off at the Porta Cristina, where we began our approximately 1-hour walking tour of the castle. Here, we were able to view various historical structures that are intertwined with the more modern-day buildings and landmarks. This walk culminated with 30 minutes of free time in a commercial area, which gave us just enough time to grab a quick souvenir before hopping back on the bus for the short ride back to the ship. Our last and final stop was Ibiza in Spain. Valiant Lady was doing an overnight stop, with the ship arriving in the early evening on day 6 and staying through most of day 7. This evening we had a shore excursion that was supposed to meet at 7:15. According to the tour's description, it included a tapa, bite, and sangria. One thing about Virgin Voyages is the lack of ship-wide announcements. The cruise line relies heavily on the app to send reminders. Of course, this is fine when the app works. We hadn't received any notification that we're able to go ashore, even though we could see sailors exiting the ship a little after 7 p.m. Thus, we grabbed our gear and descended towards the gangway to meet for our tour. Per the tour description, we were supposed to include a drive to a beach club to watch the sunset with a glass of sangria. Then, we would drive to historic Walled City for a walking tour. Our Mercedes van left a little after 7:30 p.m. with all 19 passengers on board. As we started the drive, it was clear we were not going to make it to the viewing spot in time to catch the sunset. Further, the tour guide indicated we were going to go do the city walk first, then get our food and drinks. At first, we were disappointed by this change of plans. However, as the night progressed, we came to appreciate the new schedule. It took about 30 minutes to get to the entrance of the Dalt Villa gates. During the drive, our guide provided the typical island history. Once at top of this UNESCO World Heritage Site, we were able to watch the sunset slowly behind the hills. After capturing some great photos, we set off on a 2-hour downhill stroll through this walled city. Along the way, our guide pointed out various fortifications and bastilles, providing a complete overview of this 16th century city. Plus, the twilight offered a unique backdrop to this gorgeous historical city. By the time we got to the gates at the base of the city, we could see the surrounding nightlife. This modern square is home to several restaurants, bars, and shops. Technically, the real nightlife that Ibiza is known for is about 5 kilometers away. But for us, this was our night out. We certainly did not have plans to head out to one of the many popular nightclubs in Ibiza that don't even open till midnight. Our tour concluded at the patio of a hotel for a glass of sangria and what turned out to be a table full of tapas. Following our snack, we actually met up with friends we were traveling with who are not far away. We met them for a drink at an outside bar and could officially say we had drinks in Ibiza before we grabbed one of the cruise line's shuttle back to the ship a little after midnight.
Now, if you enjoyed our cruise review of Virgin Voyages Valiant Lady, why not check out our complete review of its sister ship, Scarlet Lady? That ship is sailing from Miami, and we have a complete look at all the dining, entertainment, and onboard activities, as well as the destinations to see if a cruise on Scarlet Lady is also right for your next cruise vacation.